So instead of racing the Copenhagen Marathon, I'm currently sat in a hospital bed watching it on my phone. It's not quite how I envisioned this trip going. So how did I end up here? Well, let's take it back to the start. Tokyo Airport with my flight to Copenhagen awaiting, and this story begins as any good one should, with some good old scran. So I've gone for a classic tonkatsu, get my energy up. I feel like the plain food is never enough. And if I'm starting the carbo load, maybe a little early now, but I've got to get it in. Let's give it a go. That is unreal. Fried pork, cabbage, rice ball, miso soup, a few little pickled veg as well. Perfect for a 24-hour travel day. Yeah, I was in for a mission, but the journey getting there would end up being light work in comparison to what was to come. So this trip's ended up being a lot longer and a lot more expensive than planned, and I'm trying to scrape by to pursue the running dream, so there is a couple sponsors on this video. But I hope you guys understand that this helps keep the Marathon Monk lifestyle alive and keeps the videos free for you guys. Now, the first stop was in Thailand to catch a connecting flight and obviously to refuel during the layover. So I'm currently in Bangkok airport. I've got a big travel day today, but before jumping on the plane, I actually downloaded the Barraclough app, which is going to come in clutch during my time in Copenhagen. Now, we're talking about traveling to different countries, so this is the perfect time to bust out my hidden talent, the accent guru. So Barraclough are an eSIM store that help you save that time and money when you travel abroad. It's easy to use, and after downloading the app, you choose your eSIM plan, which is just a digital SIM for your phone. You can pick from local, regional and global eSIMs for over 200 countries. So wherever you're going, they've got you covered. So then you install the eSIM using their step-by-step guide, and a few minutes later, booyakasha, you're activated and good to go. So download the Barraclough app today, use code RAN2JAPAN3 to purchase your eSIM in advance, and then only activate it when you arrive, which I've just done. So the first mission now is tracking down some good old scran. Now, I said I'm going to Copenhagen for this little marathon, but obviously the real reason is to sample the local Danish pastries. So I've got to stay connected and able to use maps on my phone while I'm here. And luckily I can use Barraclough's eSIM to navigate these foreign lands and take me straight to the nearest bakery for some heavy carbo loading. So if you're traveling abroad, then install Barraclough today and you can stay connected wherever you travel. And use my code RAN2JAPAN3 to get $3 off your first eSIM. Now, I finally made it to the hotel and I was ready for a big weekend ahead. So I'm getting that VIP treatment for this race. I've luckily been hooked up with the free hotel here, including the buffet breakfast. So that's definitely going to be a highlight for me. Very dangerous in the build up for a marathon. I could put on 5 kgs, no problem. But I'm going to head out for a run now after that 24-hour travel day. An absolute mission getting here. And look at the state of my legs. It's like there's a chunk missing from my leg. They're that swollen from the flight. It's done some damage right there. So I've got to get my legs flushed out ASAP. They're not used to just being sat for like 24 hours. Usually I'm running twice a day, always on the move. But actually, even leading into the flight, I had to have a couple days off running to rest my Achilles. So I just twinged it coming off the back of the Ultra. I felt fine during it and after. And then the next day went for 10K, and after that was just hobbling around. And the Achilles is definitely an injury you don't want to mess with. You don't want to play around. I've tried running through it before and it's not ended well. So I thought complete rest and then get back to business. I've got to turn this around ASAP if I'm going to hit this marathon on the weekend. God, within the first 5 minutes to this run, I think I've ran on more trail than I have my entire time living in Tokyo. Every time I travel, I just realise how bad Tokyo is for running. It's just way too overpopulated, crowded, busy, no open spaces like this. When I finally escape Tokyo, I feel like I'm going to turn into a different animal. After 2 years of mental training there, running the same tiny loops, endless laps, any other city is just going to be incredible. Like, running's going to feel easy. 300k weeks, going to be no problem. So this week was planned as a bit of a down week, but it's ended up being a lot more down than expected. So this is pretty much 2 months out from Gold Coast. So I'd like to have a little dip now. I've had 5 massive weeks, averaging I think over 250k a week. So I want to drop back a little bit, freshen up, hit Copenhagen to kind of see what shape I'm in. Then I'll go into the mammoth section of the block, where I'm going to really ramp it up, push the mileage, take a gamble, see if I can survive. And talking of survival, my Achilles seems alright so far. No pain there, so I think those 2 little rest days have done the trick. I then met up with the boys, Aidan and Ronnie, my old housemates from uni. The banter was flying, scram was being devoured. What could possibly go wrong? Now, things have taken a bit of an unexpected turn overnight. So to give a little backstory, about a week ago, I was running and tripped over and like cut my hand a little bit. Tiny little cut, I didn't think anything of it. And then a couple of days ago, I noticed it was a little bit infected. So I did the obvious thing, I popped it. A whole load of lovely yellow pus came out. And I thought, yeah, that's cleared it, no problem. I've then just woken up today, my whole hand is like swollen up and it's moved down my arm. So like my whole forearm now is red, swollen and like burning. I can feel it like throbbing. I don't know if you can pick it up on camera properly, but it's basically so swollen I can barely like move my wrist at all. Like I'm seriously limited in movement. But that's actually not the worst bit. My armpit is killing me. And I was like, what's going on there? Like I can barely lift my arm up past about here. Even just trying to like run, like that kind of motion is so painful. So I used good old Dr. ChatGPT. I sent some pictures, I gave it my symptoms, and it's basically said the infection in my hand has started spreading all the way down my arm, like into my lymph node. And it said that I've got to get urgent treatment. Like usually I'd leave this thing until, yeah, my arm was basically fallen off, but ChatGPT was very insistent. So I'm actually heading to A&E now to get it checked out. And a few hours later, we had a diagnosis. All right, I finally made it out the hospital and success, I've secured the drugs. So like I thought, basically my arm's got infected, it's spreading through the lymph system. So they give me antibiotics to try and cure that. And they've also marked the area around the infection to see if it starts spreading. So if it starts going outside that line, getting bigger, getting worse, then I have to go back. I'm gonna try and get out for a run now. My arm's so painful that I don't know if I'm gonna be able to move, but yeah, we'll try, we'll see what happens. So I've just spent half an hour trying to actually get my running kit on just because I'm in so much pain from my arm. I don't know why I thought I could run. I just tested it trying to jog down the corridor, and it's like every time I land, the impact sends this ridiculous pain through my arm. It's like I basically can't move this side of my body. Like it's just completely dead. So I guess that's an aborted run. Just got to come back tomorrow and hope these painkillers do absolute bits overnight. But I couldn't even make it that far because things had rapidly deteriorated. I'm so f***ed right now. I'm in such a bad way. My wrist is just swollen up so bad, but my arm, I'm in so much pain. I'm like shaking from the pain. Oh, geez, I don't know if I'm even gonna put this in the video. So I managed to just about call an Uber and make it to A&E, but by that point, I could barely speak or see because of the burning pain that had spread through my whole body. Luckily, Ronnie and Aidan made it over then, not for the support, but to save this video by capturing some clutch content.
This is the content everyone came for.
After being juiced up on morphine and given some IVs, I gained a little consciousness, but I wasn't exactly in the best state and was quickly upgraded to an overnight suite in the hospital, where I ended up spending the next few days. So instead of racing the Copenhagen Marathon, I'm currently sat in a hospital bed watching it on my phone. It's not quite how I envisioned this trip going. I've been stuck here for a couple days now, basically just being pumped up with antibiotics, absolutely juicing up. My arm's looking a lot better now, so it is definitely improving, but there's still a chance that I could need surgery if the infection is still spreading. I actually didn't realise, but I think it was looking pretty bad at one point. So I'm on the orthopedic ward, and almost everyone else in this ward is missing limbs, like arms, legs. But geez, if things had kept progressing that way, I could have been joining the Paralympics. That really would have been a storyline for the YouTube, but at least I'm keeping it entertaining for you guys. The drama is there, just a normal marathon. That's far too boring. I had to spice things up with a quick trip to the hospital, just to add some excitement to my marathon journey. So I was meant to be tearing up the race course and repping the brand SaySky, who've been legends in supporting my running this year. So I feel bad that instead I'm just sat in this hospital grounds. At least it's nice out here, better than the prison cells back in the UK. This just feels like a little village vibe. We've got the suns out. Could be worse, but I wish I could have ran that Copenhagen Marathon. So instead now SaySky are my #1 hospital drip supplier. I've got the Fresh Fit on. How nice is this hoodie? Look at that, the back of there. That was the collab they did with Puma. So they definitely have some of the freshest gear, whether it's running or just casual like this. Or if you ever find yourself in the hospital, then you can get dripped out as well. I've got that code, RTJ15, you can get 15% off. I had all my race gear that I'd brought over. Instead though, I had to lend it to my friend Ronnie, who was running in the Copenhagen Marathon, had to pass that mantle on. And he's actually adopted the Marathon Monk philosophy too. So he ran London Marathon, a 2:23 PB, and that was just 2 weeks ago. And then he decided, come on then, why not? Let's bosh out another one. And he had a great race. He sat in with the lead female, obviously to get that TV time, and it was conveniently on for sort of, I think 2:23 or so they were going. I think he hit a little bit of a wall around 30k, but then rallied pretty hard, supported by Aidan out there on the race course, hurling some abuse his way when he started looking tired. That's all you need. They end up running 2:24, so back to back, sub 2:25s, unreal that. So I was living vicariously through those boys out on the course while I was stuck inside. And I definitely want to come back to Copenhagen next year, because this time, instead of touring the local parks, rivers, all the running routes, I've instead been touring the local hospitals. I can give you some great reviews on the different wards here, but I definitely want to come back, run it next year. Hopefully rep Sky good then and get redemption on this marathon, because it's definitely 1-0 to Copenhagen at the moment. But I eventually got cleared to leave the hospital. However, you'll want to stay till the end of the video, as this roller coaster ride was only just heating up. And I'm finally free after 2 days stuck in the hospital, sampling the local hospital cuisine of Copenhagen.
Yeah, get that hand in as well.
Heaven. I'm a free man. Here we go, there's the exit. And I've got my fan club with me right here. The fam cam have come out to support, ended up just sitting in a hospital for the whole day. So I had the little wound here finally cut open by the doctor, about a pint of pus squeezed out, and then they like scooped it out with this tool. It was absolutely grim, so painful, but pretty much got rid of whatever was in there. And then I was all cleared up to go. Been given my antibiotics, the tablets, I've got to just keep popping them, and then hopefully I keep mending and I'll be back to running soon. So the idea with Copenhagen Marathon was that I was going to use it as like a building block in the long-term plan leading into Gold Coast Marathon. That's like my main goal, the sort of sub 2:10 target. So I was thinking it's a good point during the block, like 8 weeks out from that, to see where my fitness is at. Because obviously I lost some fitness coming off Tokyo, dropped the training load with that little knee injury, and then I've been building back, hit some massive mileage. So I wanted to test myself after a little taper into Copenhagen, what was my current shape. So obviously I didn't end up running the race, but luckily I've got a good benchmark because I was using the Kaizen app leading into it. So, you know, they'd partnered up with me for this Copenhagen Marathon. So I explained how the app works in some recent videos, but it's based around a training load and a race predictor. So let's check out the app now and see where I was at. So according to Kaizen, if I'd have run the Copenhagen Marathon, they were predicting a 2:16. And that's about bang on what I'd also thought I was based off my like recent marathon sessions that I'd done. So I think it's pretty spot on, and it basically has been building over time as I built out that mileage. So the average distance had been increasing week on week. I kept the average pace almost exactly the same though, around that like 4:25 or so average. Because I think that's a danger. You try and pick up volume and intensity, and that's where it goes wrong. You get injuries and stuff. Keep the quality there in terms of intensity, but don't try and absolutely hammer the easy runs. Like keep them easy and then smash the sessions. So I'd recommend you give the Kaizen app a look. You're trying to maximize that training load as well. So when you sign up, you can get an extended free trial if you use my code RAN2JAPAN. So you can give it a go, test it out, see if it works for you too. And I think that's a good place to be. So if I could have run about a 2:16 to basically kickstart the Gold Coast block, well, you think at the start of the Tokyo Marathon block, I did Fukuoka in a 2:18. So I think I was in a much better place than I was before Tokyo. But I think I'm pretty nicely set up for Gold Coast now if I can get back to running ASAP and I don't lose too much of that fitness, I can bounce back in. But then came yet again another plot twist. So yeah, things have taken a little bit of a turn. I thought I was completely fine leaving the hospital, and then the next day I've got these two sort of golf ball sized lumps on my arm, this big red patch, and the hand started to, I don't know if it's getting worse or it was just always a bit red. I started like losing feeling in my pinky. There's just absolutely no power there at all. So we're kind of weighing up, do I head back to the hospital? Where do we go from here? I thought I was in the clear, but it looks like maybe the arm is gonzo. We'll have to end the video here, leave it on a cliffhanger. Tune in next week to find out whether it's Paralympics or Olympic gold. But this has been Jake with Ran to Japan. I'll see you in the next one. Remember, train harder, not smarter.